Okay, there's that one, and then there's that one. That's the way it was hooked up before, and everything worked. So there you go. See, I never know what cords work because I've never had them hooked up before, and some of these cords do not work with an iPad. And by the way, just so everybody knows, I didn't realize that my porch setting was so important to people. I really didn't. It's just something we do for fun. One of our subscribers, and I won't mention their name because they're really big on being anonymous, he bought me a brand new iPad and brought it over and gave it to us.
Yeah,
I really
felt wonderful. I mean, that's unreal. It really is.
I was just humbled by it because I didn't expect anything like that for anybody. Really, we just save our Patreon money till we get enough and then get it. But
and we've got through the years, we've got a lot of thanks from y'all, and we appreciate every bit of it. But that was kind of a wow.
Here's exactly how he gave it to me. Excuse my language. He came over, and he walked over up. We was in the house. I invited him in, have a cup of coffee or something. And he walks up to me and he says, "I don't want to hear any shit." And then he handed it to me. I swear to God, that's how he got it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But thanks, humbly, thanks. I appreciate it. We are using it right now. I don't know if the camera's any better. I don't know if the audio's any better, but it is new. It is working, and we're going to use it.
Yeah. I think like I said, I think it works fine. It's a little bit of operator error in the rest of the stuff.
Well, the other one was working. I just couldn't plug the mics in the same way as this one.
Yeah.
And I was just going to use it until it quit. And who knows, it may have lasted for years because actually this one, the screen's a little bigger, but the programming of it and everything is exactly like the other one. It's not anything different.
Well, I want you to mark those cords when you get done today so you know.
I usually just leave them hooked up.
Well.
But because of all the switching around.
And I said just mark them so you know next time.
And my mind anymore, I don't remember as much as I used to.
Yeah.
The answer remains.
Ooh.
Did she adjudicate any cases involving Israelis seeking asylum in this country?
And Ron 5850, those cookies, they were just the right thing. I mean, it was the chocolate chip with the walnut, and they're crunchy, and he loved them. So,
oh, yeah, those are extremely good.
Yeah, and I had seen them before at the store, but I never bought them because they're kind of expensive. You get, a dozen for, today, Publix have them on sale, 2 for $10.
It probably cost you more to ship them here than what the cookies cost.
Yeah, it probably did.
I appreciate it. I'm eating them.
They was really good. And they also have lemon. I happened to see that too. So, but very good.
No First Incorporated.
Hey, this is Skip calling back about scheduling my house wash.
Okay.
With Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got the spigots fixed. And I'll apologize because I had no idea that they were leaking.
Problem. Can I have your address, please?
Yeah. Wait a minute. I don't think I want to broadcast my address.
No. Anyhow, we're doing business while we're doing this. You notice, you didn't have to do that right this minute, but we had a house wash scheduled, and then when the guy got here, he found out there was a problem with the spigots. And I think he did a video about it, so you'll get to see all about it and hear all about it. But anyhow, I had to fix that before the guy could come back to wash the house. And we used no pressure wash and incorporated, and they've always did a really good job. And you don't have to worry about the high pressure stuff. You don't have to worry about getting the water or whatever in the attic, in your eaves and what have you. With the no pressure, they don't do that. And so we've never had that problem to worry about. So, but they've always done us a good job. And he's also going to do the bricks out front that surround our landscaping. He's also going to clean those. And I think they do use high pressure for those. But the one they use on the house is no pressure. And we use them. Judy P. uses them. A couple of our neighbors do. We've always had good luck with them. But anyhow, he had to reschedule the appointment because we've got everything stuck out on the porch. We got everything off the house and all the chairs and everything stuck out on the porch so he could get around. And I said, they've been sitting there for a couple of days. So I think he wanted to get that scheduled right away. You know, you guys, I this morning when I walked, it was 62, I think, when I left, and it wasn't much better when I got back. I think it went down a little bit as I got back. And tomorrow, I think it's somebody said in the 50s, and I, you know, I think in my head, I don't have to go out there and walk, you know, and I could go to a rec center and they've got walk away the pounds, which is very cool, but I don't because I just bundle up and go on because I don't like to schedule too many things. So, but anyhow,
Look at this.
what? I'm
68,
cold.
68 degrees out here.
That wind is a 20-mile-an-hour wind.
Oh my God! You think we had some kind of
Uh-oh. Tell
wind.
me.
Yeah, the wind.
Yeah, I told you the wind.
Well, here I'm gonna have to put that back. This is why I can never sit down.
We should have done this out back. Yeah. Yeah, the awning's going in because the winds got so high. And I knew they would said 20 to 25-mile-an-hour bursts. You know, it's not constant, but bursts. And as when it hits that sensor on the awning, it automatically puts it in. That's in case you don't remember to put it in and it storms or something like that, the wind comes up, it automatically goes in. So we have to deal with that. So you know, I know y'all are pretty much freezing like I am. Up north, I can't, you know. I like Laura says 38 degrees. To me, I haven't seen 38 for a while, and I don't want to. I'm just fine with the weather here, and we do have some 30s. I said, doesn't get for too long. It's usually just early in the morning. Oh, okay. Yeah, but I can't, you know, my head doesn't comprehend 30s anymore. I am just getting too used to this. When I get old and disabled and have to move back to the north, why?
You are old and disabled.
Well, like I said, I when I have to stay in, then I won't care.
One announcement, as long as everything works out, as of right now, Craig and I, anybody's got like medical insurance questions about in Florida, does the insurance in Indiana work here or whatever you've got, and also about Medicare questions that you might have, and what changes Medicare's made this year compared to last year. I don't have an answer to any of them questions, never claimed to, but Craig does. He's the expert. We've worked it out. He's so busy right now at this time of year. Plus, thanks to you guys, whenever we do a show where we advertise his name and phone number and stuff, he just gets swamped. And I know that he is swamped now because he was supposed to come to our members' lunch yesterday, and he was working a lot of overtime and scheduling more people than he normally does to get them in, and he couldn't make the lunch. So, but as of right now, he is scheduled. The best thing, because he's going to be running around next Wednesday to meet people at their houses and talk to them about stuff. He's going to stop by next Wednesday at Port Sutton and sit here and answer your questions for a while. So if you've got any of them questions, come to Port Sutton next Wednesday. Tell your friends if they've got questions. Come to Port Sutton. Tell your neighbors if they've got questions. Even if they're not a subscriber to the channel, come to Port Sutton. And then they can type them questions in. And I say, again, if we have them, don't hesitate next Wednesday when he's here to ask them questions.
Yeah. Oh, Harley John, thank you so much. $20.
I haven't even got my phone turned on yet because of all this.
Day late and a dollar short. Isn't that what your dad used to say? Yeah, William says, great show about the grade on the hospital. And it was, you know, like I said, Craig's very plain about what he says. I mean, he's very direct. And it was, you know, like
Who is that? Sounds like a chicken.
Sounds like a chicken. That's me. I sound like an old truck driver. But yeah, it's, you know, he's very clear about what he says. And I said, when you have questions, especially with Medicare, and it's hard. I tell you, when you change over, and I, you know, I've been on Medicare for a while, and I still have a lot of questions. And we've been dealing with a situation with Skip's sister in the Medicare system. And I said, there's there's just so much involved. But if you have a question, yeah, come porch sit next week. And
Did you thank Harley John for a $20 super chat?
I did.
Thanks, Harley John. That's what we do these lives for, to pick up an extra super chat or super sticker once in a while.
And I think
Appreciate
we
it, buddy.
have somebody new in the lofts. Anfield Road layout in the loft. Says, hi, Skip.
I guess I ain't got up that far.
Yeah.
I've been busy this morning getting all this stuff set up.
Well, Laura says, 34 and a dusting of snow next to her front door.
In Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
I don't doubt it.
Or Schaumburg, yeah.
They get a lot of, when I used to run the truck years ago, and I used to have to go to South Holland, which is it's a suburb of Chicago, kind of like. And it seemed like when I'd get up to about somewhere in the northern part of Indiana, I can't think of the name of the town, but anyway, up in that area right there, just past the way station, there used to be a way station, now the way station's gone. From there north, they got a lot of lake effect. And we always knew where it was going to be. And it was funny because whenever they'd have snow, it seemed like that line was always right there where that lake effect was at.
TR says it's a balmy 37 in Oklahoma. Should be 70 by the weekend.
37.
Well, we're going to be up to 80 by the weekend. But then I said, today is.
So let me ask you a question. You people in Midwest and up there in the snow belt and where it's really cold, what is your favorite winter food?
Oh, yeah.
This is a discovery that I've just learned in the last few years, that there's such a thing as summer food and winter food. Oh. I always just thought it was just food that you like.
Well, I call it comfort food, but like I said, yeah, in the wintertime,
Jean told us she never makes chili unless it's in the winter, because that's a winter food.
Yeah, yeah.
And meatloaf, which was Tom's favorite, because he liked meatloaf sandwiches, she would never make them because that was summer food, right?
Yeah.
It's one or the other. And he always got frustrated with it because he wanted it. And she's no, that's summer food. I can't make that now.
I cook it any time of year. Like I said, matter of fact, was it a week or two ago when it was kind of cold and rainy, I made a pot of chili.
Man, I don't know what kind of cookies these are, but these are good too.
That's the ones that
you got nuts and things in them.
Yeah, the 58.50. Ron 58.50 cent. Those are Tate's.
I know, but I probably can't afford to drive all the way north to get these.
Well, no, I got them at Publix.
These?
Yes.
How much are they?
Just today, they were on sale 2 for 10, 2 bags for 10 at Publix today. And Publix is always a little pricey.
Probably way overpriced for a cookie, but what are you going to do?
Well, and I seen him at Bell's. I think they were $6.50. So 2 for 10 was a good deal. But there's only like a dozen in there.
They got nuts in them.
Yeah, that's what it said.
That's what a chocolate chip should have. You guys make chocolate chip cookies. You never put nuts in them.
Well, I don't, because you're not supposed to be eating nuts.
They're talking about me because I eat a can at a time. They're talking about eating the whole can. I shouldn't do that. If I have like one or two, well, no, here lately I can't even hardly eat one or two of them. These I can because see, the nut is mixed in with other ingredients, and the other ingredients pushes everything through.
Oh, well, use excuses if you want. I don't put nuts in them because you're not supposed to eat nuts.
By the way, let me ask you guys something.
Change the subject. Very good.
I've been trying to lose a little bit of weight before I see my doctor December the 15th, because they give me a lot of crap about being heavier this year than I was last year, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I thought, well, if I could drop a few pounds, maybe they'll leave me alone. So 3 days ago, and I've been eating normally, I just don't eat all that much. I've been cutting down on snacks a lot. I weighed 238 down from 245. So I'm on the right path, right? And then I got to the point, I weighed myself now in the morning when I get up, and I weighed myself before I go to bed. Last night, before we went to our members' lunch, because I knew I was going to eat something over there, I weighed myself. I was 238 and a half, I think. When I got home, I weighed myself after I ate. I weighed 240, which is kind of like, I didn't eat a pound and a half of food, but I had a couple of beers, and I'm thinking that's probably where it comes from.
Just water will do that. Yeah.
Well, and there's a lot of sugar in beer and so on and so forth.
Right.
So after going to the restroom a couple of times and getting the liquid out, I weighed myself before I went to bed, and I was 240, exactly 240. So when I got up in the morning, I generally weighed myself first thing in the morning and the last thing at night. I got up this morning. As a matter of fact, I went in there and I stood on a scale after having only one cup of coffee, only one. I weighed, what did I tell you?
242.
242. How do I gain 2 pounds by going to bed?
I am telling you, this is something, and that's why Weight Watchers tell you weigh yourself once every 7 days, because in the middle there's a lot of fluctuation. There always is.
But the
I don't care
question
what you're
is
eating.
how, by eating nothing and drinking nothing and going to bed, sleeping, and then just getting up, how do you gain 2 pounds?
Like I don't know, but I know if I eat ice cream before I go to bed, the next day I'm going to gain 2 pounds.
I didn't eat anything. Oh,
Yeah.
I did. Well, I had a couple of pretzels.
Well, and I said you put cream in your coffee. I don't know how many cookies you ate.
None last night.
None?
None.
Okay,
I've
well.
been cutting down on the snack. Well, I had them this morning, but they were
You
laying
do
out.
it. I said, you're like me. I'm a grazer, and you don't even notice it. You just don't even notice it, what you're doing.
Yeah, Phil said it was a dang Yingers. It might have been the Yingling beers. It might have been.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we're missing a lot of these.
Well, it seemed like everybody this morning was getting work done. I noticed a lot of the contractor trucks around. Lady over there got her sprinklers readjusted or something. He got his yard mowed and edged. Guy down there got it mowed and edged. This guy over here, there was a guy in there yesterday that was spraying the flower beds for weeds. We got our bushes all trimmed last Friday, Thursday, whenever. They were supposed to wash my house last Friday, but couldn't because my sprinklers were leaking. Not sprinklers, the outside.
Spigot.
We have a thing on our spigots here. Everybody, anything south of 466, I can't speak for Spanish Springs area. It's called a siphon, and it screws on all your outdoor spigots. And the best that I can come up with, that the purpose of those are, when you shut the water off, there's little holes that goes all the way around this thing. And as soon as you shut the water off, there's a little spurt of water. It goes, psh, it sprays it out. And I did notice about 2 or 3 years ago, quit doing that. And all it really does is it takes the pressure off of your hose so that if you pick it up and hit the nozzle or whatever, nothing comes out. There's no pressure in that hose. So anyway, and the guys told me, everybody told me, says, don't try to change them yourself, because if you break that, you're really screwed, because they got to take part of your wall out to fix it. And I kept looking at it thinking, I don't know, man. It just seems like it just screws on. But I did a video. I watched that. I'll just say that. Watch the video. I don't know when it's going to come out, and show you how to change them. I figured it out. Is it the absolutely correct way? Don't know, but I can tell you it works. It worked for me. I changed both of them, no problem at all, and replaced them. Your problem's going to be to find a replacement. We looked, and Ace up there don't have them that size, right?
They didn't have any. Yeah.
They didn't have anything, and that surprised me because Ace has everything. They didn't have it, so I went on Amazon trying to match up the pictures and everything, because I don't know thread sizes and all that stuff. And I got lucky, I guess, because I got 2 of them. They're like $12, $8 a piece, or $12 for 2. I got 2, and put them on, and everything's working fine.
Well, you're handy to have around.
That's why I called the house wash guy, because I want to get this thing washed. I usually get my house washed in October and May. And here we are. She said they couldn't work me in now. See, we're in the middle of Snowbird season. She said, I won't be able to get you in at the earliest till November 13th.
Oh, okay. So that's a week or so away. So this is the 1st of November. Can you believe that? I mean, this year has went by so fast. This month went by so fast. I couldn't believe it. But before you know it, Christmas will be on your doorstep. So we're missing a lot here. Let's see.
Did I get another super chat from Susie Minton?
Susie Minton. Oh, hi, Susie. We haven't had lunch yet. And I said, you get a hold of me. We'll schedule it again. We're supposed to go right before we went to Indiana, and I said her husband was sick, so she couldn't go. So.
Are they new to the villages?
No, they've been here a while. But I met her out at Kohl's. She works at Kohl's.
She went to where?
At Kohl's. I know, I was shopping. What could I say? But thank you for the super chat. That was really, really nice, Susie. But everybody's telling you what their favorite food was, and
Favorite
also
food.
about your weight. Overjoyed said it's water retention.
I don't even know where you're at.
Uh,
Lost 56 pounds 3 years ago and kept it off. Still low carb. Yeah, I know about the low carb thing because that worked for me once before.
yeah.
Here's what a doctor told me. He said all these diet things, he said, are all in people's heads. He said, I forget what it was, something about on the ingredients on the package. Look and see the calories from fat compared to calories from something else. I forget what it was. And he says, and if it's 25% or less, you can eat it all you want. If it's more than 25%, put it back. And I just started doing that. And when I was working for Ryder, going up to Michigan for Saturn, to get my weight down, I went from like 215, I think, down to like 195. So it does work, but I can't remember the formula.
Well, that doctor was kind of a quack.
He was not a quack.
Well,
She just didn't like him. He was very good.
Okay, Joseph Smith's portion size is absolutely the easiest way to lose weight. It's nearly impossible to go on these crazy diets and give up the food you enjoy. It is. Yeah, it is. And, now there's several. Weight Watchers always worked for me, but I don't like the regimen. I don't like the idea of counting and that kind of thing. And I don't eat normal anyhow. He'll tell you that.
Well, when you're retired, the idea of having breakfast when you get up and having lunch and maybe dinner after you get home from work and all that stuff, that's out the window. Now you just eat because we're having a ladies' luncheon today, so we're going to go out and have lunch. Well, then you got to ask what time. Well, the lunch is going to be at 2:00.
Yeah, it's very easy here because everything, food, it's a social thing, and we're
Well,
always
our members' lunch. What time did we have our members' lunch? 1:00. See, it's not scheduled.
Well, I schedule that because at least I know you're
But
up.
I'm saying when you work, your lunch may be noon
Right.
every day. Well, when you're here, I'm saying basically you throw that out the window because you might have a tea time at noon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, and you shouldn't really have to worry about weight when you get our age, but it has a lot to do with your health in general. I think a lot of stuff, and we still worry about it.
My theory is women like to lose weight because it gives them a good excuse to go shopping.
Well, that too.
Yeah. Well, they don't fit me no more. Look how baggy. Look at this. It makes my butt look so saggy. I got to get some new stuff.
Oh, yeah. Jerry says, welcome to all the new visitors. Yes, we've got a lot of new visitors today. And Agent K says, who cares about weight? Nothing wrong with being fat and happy. Well, you're right. It makes me crazy. It does. It makes
William
me
says
crazy.
he lost 135 pounds. First of all, congratulations on that, because that's a lot. Instead of costing $3,500, the judge said she could keep the ring. Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
I got it.
And Jerry Bell wants to know about the Canadians across the street, if they're back down for the winter yet. They were here and they
left.
They left last week.
There's a for rent sign in the window.
And they're renting the house out from November to January, and then they've got renters until March, and then they'll be back in March.
They already got renters?
They do have somebody for February, but they're renting it out from November to January.
They're renting it out a month at a time?
Yeah, I believe so.
Ooh, that's a mistake. You'll find that out.
Well, I mean, I didn't ask, but it says on the sign.
The problem
November
is it's not renting it out month at a time. The problem is he's got 3 different people now he's got to worry about. Are they going to be quiet? Are they going to follow the rules? Are they going to tear my house up? If you got one, you don't have to worry about one. And the second problem is that the cleaning in between the renters, as well as I do, that's a problem. Okay. So if these people rent it for January and they leave on the 31st, the other people's coming in March 1st. Somebody's got to get in there and clean this house.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I didn't. The sign says November to January, so you may have to take all 3 months. I don't know, but
the sign says what?
November to January.
That's when it's for rent.
Yes.
November to January. So February and March, he's not renting it.
February, and then they'll be back in March.
He's renting it. He's renting it in February.
Yeah, he's already got it rented for February.
Then why is the for rent sign still up?
That's for from November to January.
I thought you said it was already rented.
For February. Am I not talking right or what?
No, you're not. You said it's whatever you said the first time, November to
January.
and
Is
I said, is it already rented? You said yes.
It's rented for February.
Oh, so he's only got 1 month rented?
Yes.
November through January could be a problem because nobody wants to rent for a month in November. Nobody wants to rent for a month in December. They don't. I'm telling you exactly what they experience. If he does, he'll be lucky. They always want to come down for a week or two for Thanksgiving. That's it. And then they want to come down for a week or two for Christmas. That's it. So you're not going to get that month. We've been there and done this. That's why we quit renting it for those months, period, because it was just too much trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I should rent it.
What would you do with it?
That way I got someplace to go when you get on my nerves.
Oh my God, I stay gone most of the time, so you don't have to worry
Oh,
about
actually, I forgot I got a camper.
it. You're just looking for a way to spend money, ain't you?
Hey, I'm the one that don't want to spend money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Remember, I'm the one that's going to have to share the can in there with Maggie.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Wow. And Jerry, we didn't have any trick or treaters last night. You know, when we first come here, the neighborhood did do trick or treat, and I said, you know, they would come for a beer. They'd come trick or treat for a beer, but they have a big party now, and it's earlier in the month, so they kind of don't do that anymore. They still do the thing with the bag on the porch, and I forget what they call that because Judy was talking about it yesterday. To where you
Bag of poop?
No, this is a bag full of goodies.
Oh, I'm thinking a different direction.
And then if you get booed, that's what it's called. If you get booed, then you have to make up 2 bags and sneak them on somebody else's porch.
Oh, I give 2 bags.
And I'm not included. But yeah, they do that, but like only to a certain few. So, but they don't have the trick or treating around the house.
Neighborhoods change over a period of a few years. When you first move in, you know, everybody has driveway parties. Matter of fact, they talk about next week I'll do my driveway party. Week after that, you can do your driveway. And then 2 neighbors will get together because there's so many new people in the neighborhood. And we did it here that the people that are really close together, they'll use both their driveways for one party and because for everybody to sit. But after you're here for a while, it seems like that kind of wears off. New people move in, they don't know anything about it. The old people are there, they're all saying, well, I'm kind of tired of doing that. And so things kind of settle in. I can remember the first 2 or 3 years we were here, that when it came to certain holidays, which by the way, Halloween is not a holiday, but they call it a holiday, that everybody would buy these orange pumpkin heads here that go on top of your yard light. And our streets were lined with them. I mean,
they still are.
Not really. There's none on there. There's none over there. There's none over here. There's none right there.
Because they're not full time.
I'm telling you, when we first moved in and these houses got sold, everybody had them. You could look down. It was just like Christmas is the same way. You could just see they had these little trees that would you stick in your yard and they had lights on them. That's all they had, and you plugged them in. Everybody decided they were all going to buy the exact same one and line the street. And I'm fine with that. And we all did it. And then in Flag Day was another one. Everybody was getting these little flags on the little sticks and putting them in their front yard. So when you came in the neighborhood, it looked like the streets were lined with these flags. Now, somewhat, they still kind of do that, but you can see the difference when you go by and there's a house, that one does not, that one does not. Yeah. And you can say,
they
well,
still line Hillsborough Trail every military holiday. They line the trail.
Yeah, but that's not a neighborhood road. That's a main road.
Yeah.
But the neighborhoods change is what I'm saying, and just kind of get used to it because that's what happens. The things that don't change are the little groups of the people that originally buy in that neighborhood. And I won't say not only those people, because they invite all the new people in too. Like here, the ladies' lunch started 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, and it's still going on today. But even though there have been people added, some of them, taken away or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what other groups are still going on. because I don't get in them anymore. But when you first move in, you might decide that, boy, the squares down there is a real neat thing. And you might go 2 or 3 times a week to go down there, and then you'll decide, this is my favorite band. And so every time that band plays, you want to go. After a few years of that, you just, I don't know, you just kind of get bored with it.
Yeah, but it doesn't get boring. You get bored with it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Because Judy and I went to the pet parade this weekend. They had the big Halloween doings down there. They have trunk or treat in Brownwood, and they had the pet parade during the day. The cutest things. I mean, I'm partial to dogs anyhow, but they had some of the cutest ones. And the Scooter, the DJ, was doing the honors with the pet parade, and it was just so cute. Everything came out really, really nice. And then last night was Scooter's big Monster Bash at Spanish Springs. And I didn't get to go there, but let me tell you, I know there's probably not an elbow spot there. That was probably just packed because not only villagers go, but also from the outside. A lot of them think with the trunk or treat here, it's a lot safer than it is maybe in the neighborhoods. So you see a lot of the outside kids, and they have a ball. They just have a ball. And we had really decent weather. I think it was 86 yesterday. And so in the evening, I think before I went to bed, I looked and it still was 78. So it was perfect weather for them to be out there trick-or-treating. But I love that kind of thing. And they don't have a trick-or-treaters per se, because we're all old people. So like every once in a while, you get a neighbor that does just for kicks. But it was a lot of fun. We had our Patreon lunch yesterday, and we did. And I should.
We got to change that to members lunch.
Okay, members lunch.
Yeah, because YouTube members are all invited too.
You get so much stuff going, I can't keep track.
Well, it started out as Patreon lunch. It was just something that Ann brought up, and for special, the Patreon people. And I just thought, okay, we'll call it Patreon lunch. Well, then I got thinking about it. I said, well, I got some YouTube members here too.
Yeah.
So I just started inviting all them. Why not? And so, even though we're used to calling it a Patreon lunch, we need to start getting used to calling it members lunch because all members are invited to it.
Yeah. And when I should have put costumes optional. It might have been cute because most of them were going to a Halloween party later. And I didn't even think when I made the reservations that it was Halloween. Didn't dawn on me. But we had a nice lunch. We had a nice group. We went to Belglade, and they were very, very good there. And I said
we got a really nice seating area. It was better than what I thought it was going to be because they were getting ready for a Halloween party there that was going to be 250 people, which takes up that one whole big site over there. And I knew that. She said, well, we're going to put you over in that one corner. And I got to thinking about it. I said, is that the corner over there by the bar, outside bar? Because if it is, that's really a pretty good area to sit in. It's quieter over there. And I have no problem with it at all.
Yeah. And I said, the weather was just perfect to be outside. And I said, they took good care of us. And I said, our little waitress, I said, she kind of run her butt off. But
all the food got to the table. It was hot.
Yeah.
I ordered a shrimp P.O. boy. I like them. I've always liked them. The problem with a shrimp po' boy is there's no good way to eat it. There just isn't. And I don't think some of the people at the table got what I was talking about. I said, well, I like them, but there's just no good way to eat it. Well, when they got it there and they seen what I was talking about, I said, yeah, how do you get your mouth around this?
Big chunks of fried shrimp. But, yeah.
The Family Man. Are you new to the channel? If you are a family man, welcome. Everybody here on the chat, they show up pretty much every Wednesday. You'll get to know them if you keep coming back. Says, hi, Skip and Sue, rainy in Connecticut. Probably cold and rainy. Where's the favorite foods that you said? I was wanting to know what their favorite winter food was.
Oh, what's that? I said chili mac. And somebody, I think, in the lady in Oklahoma, I think it's beans and cornbread.
What kind of beans?
Well, I think she said brown beans.
My mom used to make navy beans, and for Thanksgiving, because we lived on a farm, and we always had ham in a freezer, and she would slice this ham up all the time for ham and eggs for breakfast, things like that. Well, at the end of it, we'd have this big bone with all these ham chunks stuck to it. You know what I'm talking about? Pieces of. So whenever she'd make a pot of ham and beans and cornbread, she would have, in my mind, I'm picturing this big bone stuck down into this pot with the bone kind of hanging out. And she would boil that in there with the beans, and literally when she would take the bone out, it would be clean. There'd be nothing left on it because everything on that bone was now in that pot. And that's how I picture our ham and beans.
Let's see. TR says, I love watching you guys. I'm off work today, so I get to watch you. I can't wait for Port Sitting each week. Well, thank you, Robin. I appreciate that.
Well, I didn't realize how important Port Sitting was to a lot of people because, to be quite honest with you, I didn't think that many people was actually even watching that comes to the thing. Because, I look at that all the time. How many's on here now? I don't see it on my phone. It says up there on the left side. You got it? How many? 177.
Yeah.
See,
and there's a few more in that because it'll update here shortly.
Yeah, but that's just not that many. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. Don't get me wrong. It's just not that many. But I notice on most live shows, the people just don't come to them. I don't know why, what that is, but they just don't. And I've tried a lot of different live shows. As you know, WNL. That's a lot of work, and we did a lot of stuff on there. And I never did get the participation that I was looking for. That's why we quit.
Yeah.
And then on the call-in show, where you could actually call in live and talk, I thought, that ought to go pretty good. It's kind of scary to do that because we're a one-man show here. So if some nutball wants to call in and start saying something stupid before I can hang up on him, I mean, that's what I worry about, that. But even on that show, not that many people came to it. So I quit doing that. And so Port Sitting, I keep watching the participation here, and like 179 people. To me, that's disappointing. I'm looking more like...
That's what I said. There's more on there. It just keeps updating constantly.
I'm looking more for like 1,000 to 2,000 people to be on here to watch it.
Do you think you're that fascinating?
No, but I've got 14,000 subscribers. So 1,000 people is only like 1/14th of that.
Yeah.
So, or 10%. So anyway, it was explained to me how important it was and all this and that. So I decided maybe I'll just keep doing it for a while.
Overjoyed says, does TV do holiday dinners for those who are far from family? Usually it's the country clubs do. They have special dinners and what have you. And they used to, you could order off the menu, and now pretty much all of them have the stock ham or turkey dinner, and you have to make your reservations ahead of time. But like I said, here in our neighborhood has a Friendsgiving, which is anybody that's not going home for the holidays. They all have a pitch in and go to the rec center.
I thought they called us orphans.
Yeah, as orphans. And then I said, so they have a big dinner at the rec center.
They're having a big Thanksgiving dinner at somebody's house in the garage or whatever. They set up tables and
stuff. No, they go to the rec center. They've got
they do now, but I remember we went over to Paul's and Nancy's one year for New Year's Eve. And she was having a New Year's Eve party for all the orphans.
Yeah, and I said, they do that. Usually it's your neighborhood. All your people in your neighborhood get together and say, well, we're not going home for Thanksgiving. We're going to be here. And so everybody just gets together and have a pitch in somewhere. And that's nice because you get to know your neighbors that way. Hey,
Kevin. Kevin Jackson here.
Yeah, they also have stuff, like I said, at the country clubs and some of the restaurants here. Now, I've seen a few things that says that some places are going to be closed this year that haven't been before. I think some of the stores and stuff, they always were open in the evening on Thanksgiving for the Big Friday deal. Well, they're not going to do that this year. The stores are going to be closed all through Thanksgiving. And then for Big Friday, they'll be open. But they were kind of hedging as much as they could, I think, to get shoppers in there. But they're not going to do that this year, thank goodness. No.
Somebody here from Long Island says 40 degrees there. Carol Madigan. Hey, Carol, we met some people here not too long ago. I hope you saw the video anyway of Ray and Linda. I had a meet and greet with them down Brownwood, and they were from Long Island.
Mhm.
Don't know if you know them or not, but they're from Long Island.
Well, Carol and her husband's the one that seen me walking. Said,
Yeah,
"Hi, Jimmy."
and they also are members, I think YouTube members. They were going to come to our members lunch. He apparently bought a house here. I don't know where or anything about it, but he sent me an email saying that he was going to have to pass on lunch because they were having problems at the house that they just bought.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I just hope it wasn't nothing serious.
Yeah, glad they found a home though. You know.
Don't know that the house was here.
Yeah.
He just said the house they bought.
Phil says kaboom shrimp.
That was excellent at Catfish Johnny's.
Yes.
I like Catfish Johnny's. It's out of the way place. I've never been there where it was like super crowded or anything.
I said, let's see if we can do them like we did Oh Shucks and just get them crowded.
Well, then I got nowhere to go.
Yeah, they got good seafood. And
let me just say this.
Find that everywhere.
If you like Oh Shucks, and I do, we've talked about Oh Shucks to the point now, sometimes we can't even hardly get into place. Catfish Johnny's, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's on 470 in Lake Pensacola.
Oh!
Not that many people could go that far.
Hey, if they really want to find it, they can Google it.
But they do have good seafood. And you know how he always complains about the stuff that comes off the Cisco truck. Well, I don't think theirs does. It's
Oh, no, they're shrimp.
Yeah.
Wow, my God,
Yeah,
that shrimp was so good.
good.
I got a feeling that somebody in a pickup truck that caught them last night illegally came over to Catfish Johnny's and sold it to them. I don't know. But they are so good. And we had that kaboom shrimp, which is kind of like bang bang shrimp at
Bonefish.
Bonefish, but they're bigger shrimp. And they're just as good. Just as good.
Yeah,
Oh, my
very,
God.
very
I
good.
could have made a dinner just out of them.
Yeah. And we had one at dinner, and then we had one at home.
Yeah. We went out and ate with Phil and Monica, Phil B on here, and he got me some that boom boom shrimp or whatever it's called,
Kaboom.
bang bang shrimp, whatever it's called, and for the next day. And I did. Sue warmed it up in the oven, and that was my lunch. I sucked her down, man. It was good.
Yeah. And that's something we both agree on. We both love that stuff. Yeah. Okay.
One of two things we agree on.
Yeah, that's true. Anfield Road layout in the loft says, "Hi, Skip and Sue. Big thumbs up to the stream. UK here." So he's over in the UK.
How's it going over there in the UK?
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you a question, UK. If there's just keep politics out of it, because I always get accused of that. What does people in the UK actually think about America right now? Do they think we're stupid? Because I got to tell you, as an American, sometimes I think we're stupid. I do. I watch this. I go, why are we doing that? I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Robert and Nancy, we may not always be able to watch live, but we do watch and listen to replay. Yeah, there's a lot of people that watch the replays, and that's why on the Patreon memberships, once in a while I put out a podcast. And that because I've had people tell me that Bill B's one. He's a community watch guy, like a patrol officer for here. He drives around. And he likes the podcast because he said he can lay his phone down and he can listen while he's doing his job. So I thought, well, there's a niche that maybe I need to fill. So every now and then I do a podcast. It ain't going to be a podcast where I'm not interviewing people, even though I could. I'm not doing any of that.
I think you should. You're very good at interviewing people.
I do a thing about the life story of Mickey Mantle. I've done one of those. I did a life story of Paul Harvey, of how he got started, how he met his wife, and so on and so forth. The time that Paul Harvey almost went to federal prison. Things like that. Yeah. And so, yeah, I try to pick something that's kind of interesting. I'll tell you another one I was thinking about, and you're going to laugh. The French female cook passed away years ago. She had a thing on TV, heavyset gal.
She wasn't French, but she does French cooking. Julia Childs.
Julia Childs. I'm thinking about doing a podcast on Julia Childs.
Oh, cool. I loved it. I used to watch her. I loved her.
Bon appetit.
I seen the one, and every once in a while they do a replay of some of her shows. And I seen the one where she cut her finger. And I said I think they did a,
So Saturday Night Live.
yeah, on Saturday Night Live, they did a replay of it. It was,
He's holding his head, blood squirting everywhere.
it
That
wasn't
was
that way on the
hilarious.
real show, but yeah, it was good. Okay. Enfield Love said he's got the stream on and works on building his trains and on his layout and running his trains while he's watching. So
They got a big train club here.
yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but I know they got it. It's been here for years.
Yeah.
And this is the time of year where they start setting up the train.
You said you unplugged it, so it shouldn't go
I
in.
did. But I'm not going to break it either. I'll grab a hold of it first.
Okay.
They set up train displays at the hospital for the kids. And they set up train displays at different places. I don't know where they all are, but I do know the hospital, the Villages Hospital has one. And then they probably got them in other hospitals too.
Yeah. Leon Schultz says favorite winter food is pizza and favorite summer food is also pizza. It has all the food groups. I like how you think.
So you must get the pineapple pizza so you get a little bit of fruit in there, huh?
Fly on the Wall says toasted cheese sandwich and a bowl of tomato soup. Oh, that's good too. Yeah, that's good winter food.
Where are you seeing all these winter foods? Because I don't see. Am I that far behind?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how far I'm behind because I'm behind too.
I'm here where Doug says hi from Rochester, New York. Sue, my glasses. I need to get new glasses.
Yeah, making you an appointment today. I've been tracking down doctors. It's in your insurance. Okay.
Susan Logue says, if you're watching on TV, we are counted as viewers. Yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't be. Actually, you don't even have to be subscribed to watch and be counted as a viewer. But, you know, the reason why we like to get our subscriber base up is because the more subscribers you have, this is just one thing, more subscribers you have, the more YouTube would recommend my channel to other people that probably don't even know about my channel.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they would subscribe if they watched it one time.
Right.
So this is why I do a variety of things to try to attract more people, like I do shorts. Because believe it or not, there's some people that's got such a short attention span. If you've got a 15-minute video, that's too long. I can't watch all that. But if I've got a 1 minute or less, that's what shorts has got to be on YouTube, 1 minute or less, they'll watch them. I'm amazed sometimes that my shorts, in a matter of a few hours, will have 3,000 views. And then I put a video out there that I've got a lot of work in it. 3 weeks later, only has 1,500 views. And so I just try to do a variety of things.
Yeah. Robert Nancy says, hi, Skip and Sue. We may not always be able to watch live, but we do watch and listen to replays. Keep up the fun.
I think I already read that.
Oh, okay. The family man says a lot of subscribers might be working. Yes, I think.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Do, yeah.
Well, I understand that.
And playing golf and pickleball and
sure.
Yeah, people's got lives.
Yeah. And we're doing this really kind of an oddball hour, and I know that. This is lunchtime. Why is it lunchtime? Because Paul Harvey used to do it on lunchtime every week. He was on at noon. So guess what? I'm here at noon.
Love the Cape says the best YouTube channel about TV. Very informative. Enjoy the news. Well, you know, in between our fussing, we do have a few nuggets of wisdom about the Villages. That's good. We've been here now 9 years, and we've come down here before, but full time we've been here 9 years, and so we've learned a few things.
Well, it's just like some of these yard maintenance things that I show. I know 90% of people watch them and they think, well, that's stupid. You know, I don't even want to watch that. And you don't have to. But I do that because a lot of guys, especially in the Midwest that come here, are DIYer guys. DIYer. D-I-Y-er. Do-it-yourself-ers.
Okay.
I just said a wire. DIYer. You know, like wire. Moving on.
Moving on.
Anyway, and when they come here, they're generally a little bit younger than I am, and they want to do things on their own. And also, there's people here that's been here enough now that they're still on the same income they've had 10 years ago, and so money's starting to get a little bit tight. You know, so if they can save a buck here and a buck there by doing things, that's what I'm doing. I'm showing you some of these things that are really not that hard to do, and you can take all day to do it. You ain't nothing you got to do like right now. like my water things here. It took me 2 days to fix them, only because I'd go out and work for a while, and then I just go in the house and start editing a video, and I'd forget about it till the next day.
Yeah.
So it ain't something you have to do right away, but I'm showing. Listen, these are little water things that I fix. I got a total of $12.88. Plus, you had to buy that torch.
It's 69, I think.
69 for that torch. I knew that'd be kind of pricey, but I'll use that torch on other things. But here's the thing: you call a plumber to come in and fix these, which 99% of people here would. That plumber's going to charge you $65 just to show up at your house. That's what they charged us the last time, $65. After that, it's $100 an hour on an average. And if he messes around over here for half an hour to fix this one, messes around over here for half an hour to fix this one, and I very easily could see that, there's an hour, there's $100 plus 65, 165. And if you fix them yourself, the parts, oh, he's going to charge you for the parts too. I got them on Amazon for $12.88. That's how much I got into it. So I saved that little bit of money. So that's the reason why I show you that as a way of saving.
And then you can do that. Like, there's a lot of people that aren't handy about that kind
I
of thing.
said that some people come down here are DIYers,
Okay.
and they bring enough tools with them. My problem is I got rid of all my tools, and I come down here thinking I'd never have to do it again. I'll just always call the guy, and I won't have to worry about it. Right? You're retired, and that's the way I thought. I'll just call the guy to do all this. Well, after COVID, things change. And so I started doing some of these things like the water sprinklers. I put them different water sprinklers in, and I fixed them myself. You have to do a little digging, but remember, you're in Florida. We're not digging in dirt. We're digging in sand. It's not that hard. And these water pipes are not 3 feet in the ground like they would be up north. They're inches underneath the soil. It's not that hard to get down to them.
Rick Anderson says, Skip, don't just look at the number watching. Also look at the number of views on the replay. Oh, yeah, that's a big difference right there. Because I've seen that. I mean, it's multiplied a lot on the replay. Nightingale 212. Hi, all. Getting ready to remove all my golf cart Halloween decorations. Yeah, we didn't do much. We've got our pumpkin on the light, and I've got my pumpkin flag out. And, oh, yeah, I've got some window clings. But we didn't do a whole lot of decorating for Halloween this year. So.
First of all, you take the word "we" out of it. I don't decorate at all.
That's true.
If it was me, none of this would even happen.
Right. And so, you know, we don't do a whole lot. So it doesn't take a whole lot to put that stuff away. For one, I don't anymore because when I leave it in the garage, it disappears. You know?
I throw it in the trash.
It goes up in the attic.
We'll see.
Well, the thing is, I can't get it down. I'm not allowed in the attic anymore, so I can't get it down. So I don't
She
buy
ain't
as
allowed
much
in the
of that
attic
stuff.
anymore, and she's not allowed to go walking until the sun starts to come up.
Well,
No
you
more
would
walking.
never know that because you're never awake.
Well, yeah, but she knows what will happen if I catch her. There are nights where I don't sleep well, and
Yeah.
I get up and roam around.
Yeah. What would you do?
Chew your ass out. So you can't go out there until the sun comes up because
Yeah.
you know why.
Well, and next week is, I think Sunday is a time change, and we go back an hour.
My clocks will be right because I never move them either.
Yeah. Like I said, I always have to adjust my time because I said this time of year, it stays dark later. I mean, it's, I think it was like 7:40 before sunup. So, you know, that's kind of stretching. But like I said, next week, it'll be an hour behind that. So won't be quite as dark.
Phil says if you're from Long Island, have an iced tea for me or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Long Island iced tea. I think there's alcohol in that.
Oh, Annie Coughlin says the replay from last week was 2,200 views. That's decent.
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, usually, well, I'm just telling you, like the news, watch the news on Friday. Within usually the first 2 or 3 hours, I could have 5,000 views on that. That right there tells me that's what people are wanting to watch.
Yeah.
I get a lot of comments saying, you know, it's all the same. Well, it is and it ain't, but I mean, that's what's happening around here. I don't make that up, you know.
Overjoyed says, you two are so cute. I envy couples who can stay together until our senior year. Yeah, we haven't shot each other yet.
First of all, you have to describe anyway what the word senior means.
We're senior.
So we're talking age,
Yeah.
not necessarily mentally.
And yeah.
mentally, I'm still in my 20s, I guess, 30s. Because I still want to get together with some guys around here at Halloween, go soap windows. Leave dog
Really?
poop on their front porch.
I don't
You know,
believe
the
that.
dog poop people don't pick up. We'll put it on their front porch.
Seafood Shack in Leesburg and the Winn-Dixie Palace
Oh,
has
Phil!
seafood.
I can't believe you've done that. He put Catfish Johnny's phone number on here.
Well,
That was going to be our secret place.
I'm like you, Phil. We'll find a new secret place. We need to get him out more, you know, so we can find another secret place. And, yeah, the Seafood Shack in Leesburg, everybody tells me how great that is. Not been down there yet. And I said, I did go to the...
Phil even put the link to their website.
Oh, bless your heart, Phil. You burst his bubble.
If you guys go over to Catfish Johnny's, tell them we sent you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Skip sent you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's over by Lake Panosovsky.
The lady, the waitress we had was so good. I mean, she really was.
She was nice.
Yeah,
Super
she was really nice.
And, well, it wasn't that busy. So we sat there and we talked to her for quite a while.
Yeah. And let's see. Jackie says, watched healthcare yesterday. I was surprised your guest did not give any thoughts on how to improve. Well, that's kind of not his job. He did give the names of the principals involved at the hospital that you can complain to. Or, you know, he showed their pictures and their names and how to get a hold of them.
That whole show wasn't about anything. We had a lot of comments saying, how do they come up with a 1-star rating? That's what the show was about. That's all it was about.
Yeah.
And we were explaining on that show how all the hospitals in Florida, not just here, how do they get the rating they got? And then I told him before the show started, I said, somewhere in there, can you show us where the next best rating hospital is compared to where the Villages is at? And all this. And so he came up with that chart of a 2-star rating and 3-star rating, and he showed where the nearest 5-star rated hospital was, I think.
Yeah.
Who owns them, how they own them, all that kind of stuff. I thought that what he did was very, very good.
Yeah.
And it accomplished the goal that we were looking for. We don't run the hospitals. We don't tell them what to do. I wasn't part of the star rating. I don't know how it was done, but he knew, and he showed you how it was done. And that's all it was about. How did they get that 1-star rating?
Nice. And he did give the ladies' names that run the hospital here, and he said to send your opinions to them. That's how they get things done, is if they see a lot of people complaining about a certain thing, you know, whether it's customer service or the care they got here or the time they had to wait, whatever it is, he said, direct your questions to those people because those are the people in charge. They're the only ones who can change it.
Yeah. And talking about the hospital, the only thing that I can tell you personally that I know, that I've seen, was I've been to that hospital one time. And the one time I was there, because I had to take a stress test. And that's where they did it, was there. And when I went in there, the lady, when you go in there, there's like people there at a desk to kind of direct you where Dr. So-and-so's at, go this way, that way. That lady seemed like she was in kind of a bad mood that day. Now, she never said anything to me. I'm just saying my first opinion of her was she was having a bad day. And she told me where to go. And so I went and did it. After I did the stress test, talked to the doctor, and I left, I had no problem. Everything looked fine to me. They treated me fine, and I left. That's my own experience. But I bet you I've talked to 100 or so people at the squares and swimming pools and on golf courses and all that that's had experience at the emergency room there. And this goes back years ago. This ain't just today. I'm going back 9 years ago when we first moved here. And over the years, they've all told me the same thing. There's something wrong in that emergency room. And I don't know what it is. They say the wait time. I know there's a priority system. You know, if you've got a broken arm, but there's somebody that comes, and you've been waiting an hour, but somebody comes in an ambulance that's had a heart attack, he's going to go first because that's life-threatening. Your broken arm is not. So, and I know the frustration there, but that's how it's going to work. But that emergency room seems to have a problem, and I've heard that complaint over and over again.
Yeah. And you got to remember, every winter, the amount of people here doubles or triples. It was all over Florida. It's like that. And so, and we know we had a doctor in Indiana that also come down here for the winter to help because they didn't have enough. You know, they don't hire somebody for 3 months, but they did because they needed help. And UF Health took over a couple of years ago, and they're trying to change the system. They're working on it because here lately I've heard some really good things. And I said most of the problem was with the emergency rooms before. But every once in a while, you still hear, you know, that they're having some problems, and that the thing with the number system that they have, and we got a 1-star rating. The lady in charge actually, they put out a brochure about that. What are you doing?
Go ahead and talk. I'm letting
okay.
them see what the weather kind of looks like here with
Okay.
the wind, and it
But
is
she
sunny and
put
it's
out
nice.
put out a brochure on that, and she said that they don't do that number thing every year. So she said, well, you're getting a 1-star rating. That's from a conglomerate from 2 years. So it might take 2 years to get the next rating if it changes. So since UF Health has took over, I said it might be 2 years of them doing this before the rating changes. So I think they're working on it, but we still keep getting bigger populations. I don't know what the status of the new hospital is, but yeah, we know they need something. But
They'll work
Craig
on it.
just kind
I
of
sent an
explained
email
things.
to all 3 of them ladies, you know, with my concerns, and I asked each one of them a specific thing. What's your plan for the future on getting a higher rating on your hospital? And I'm still waiting for a response. And I don't really expect a response, but who knows? Might get one.
And Mike's going back to the UAE for a month.
The UAE.
United Arab Emirates.
Oh, I was going to make something up.
He's going back to Qatar, I think.
United America Enterprises.
Yeah. He's going back to Qatar.
I thought he was retired.
Well, you know, I think, well, I don't know.
Man, I'd be kind of scary to go over there right now, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. What do I know about the area? I know nothing about the area. He's been over there a dozen times. He knows.
Yeah. And Kevin says chowder and clam cakes. I do like a good chowder, Kevin.
Is that winter food?
I don't know.
Is that what he's talking about? Chowder.
He's at Iggy's, so he's got his favorite at Iggy's.
Chowder and what?
Crab cakes or clam cakes. I don't think I've had clam cakes. I've had crab
cakes. I never had clam cakes.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So
clam
at Iggy's, so that must be his favorite place.
Clam cakes.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of it.
Well, and Nightingale says clam cakes, but great chowder.
William Roosevelt said it's getting colder. I'm moving to Florida. You got to know William. He lives in the villages. He's also got a house down by Key West, so he's moving to Florida. He's never been anywhere else but Florida.
Yeah. Joy. Well, hi, Joy. I haven't seen you for a while. She says, I've been MIA for a couple of weeks, so good to be here. Well, I'm glad you're back. Glad to hear you.
She's been on a cruise or something, I think.
Yeah.
Or traveling or something.
Oh, and there's Marjan from Belgium.
Belgium's back.
Yeah, and it says there's a movie with Meryl Streep about Julia Childs. Yeah, and I love it. I mean, I love Meryl Streep, but I love Julia Childs, and that movie is really, really good. It kind of gives you the idea of what her life was like, why she did what she did, because you don't become a chef when you get to that age, you know. But she did, and I said she did it for a reason. So,
Family Man says paying for the repairs isn't the big deal. It's the waiting to get them done. These guys are busy with work right now. They are, and that's, as you've seen it. I just called the Ohio Force guy. He was here last Friday. I always have it scheduled twice a year. Matter of fact, I don't even have to be here. They call you a day or two before they show up and say, "Are we okay to wash?" You know, and one year we was in Texas.
yeah,
I said, "Yeah, go ahead and wash it. I'm not there, but go ahead and wash it." Now, when we get home, because they got a credit card, they just automatically bill it and they just do it. I just want it done because I do know that if you don't get it done when they can do it, if it's around, especially now in May, it's not so bad. That's when everybody goes home. October is kind of iffy if you don't get it done in October. Now we're in November, and you see what happened. Now I got a 13-day wait period, and then I guarantee you, give it 2 or 3 more weeks, and that could be 3 and 4 week wait period.
right. And let's see. Jackie says he kept telling you that you could go to another hospital for elective surgery, but what about when it is an emergency and have no choice? Well, he did say that once you're stable, I mean, when you go for an emergency, they take care of you right away. But like I said, once you're stable, then you can go anywhere you want.
My guess would be if it's an emergency, you're going to go to the nearest hospital.
Yeah, because the ambulance crew, they're trained to do that. They take
our neighbor over here, that could not necessarily be true, because our neighbor over here had a heart attack playing golf with me. When the ambulance got there, they took him straight to Leesburg, because I guess Leesburg is the heart central kind of hospital here over the villages. And from what he was telling me, maybe they all of them do it, I don't know, but in the ambulance there was a TV screen, and on that TV screen was the doctor at the Leesburg Hospital emergency room telling the guys in the ambulance what to do. By the time they got to Leesburg Hospital, which ain't that far away, they were ready for him. He went in, and I think he said within 20 minutes he was stented. And by the time you got his wife to the hospital, he was in a recovery room that fast.
Yeah, but that isn't always the case. And I said it's a case-by-case thing.
But I'm just simply saying that ambulance didn't take him straight to the village's hospital.
It's the closest, and Leesburg from us was the closest.
They took him because they said, Leesburg, if you have a heart attack, that's a preferable hospital here to go to.
And now, like I said, the villages is opening up their own heart thing. I don't know. I think they'll still take it to Leesburg first, but that may change in the future. And like I said, eventually, maybe we'll have one down in the southern area. Like I said, they've talked about it.
The problem they're having right now, it ain't the hospital, I don't think, or the equipment. They can always buy equipment. They got money to buy equipment. It's getting the doctors and the staff. People here are retired. I'm on my third doctor in 10 years because they hire these doctors that come into village's health system. And this is my big complaint, is they come in and they're on like a 1 or 2 year contract. And after that contract expires, doctor's done, he retires, and he moves out. Yeah. And I'm on my third doctor now. And the doctor I've got now, I've recently found out, she's not here on a contract. She's a visiting doctor. She's actually on the Orlando Hospital staff. She comes up here like 1 or 2 days a week and fills in. And basically, my doctor is the registered nurse and the physician's assistant. That's who I see all the time.
Love the Cape says, what website or otherwise do you recommend for renting monthly in the villages?
Go to Villagers Homes for Rent. I'm trying to make sure I say this right, because you got to spell it right. The Villagers with an S, Homes with an S, for rent.com. All the homeowners here that have houses for rent from one end of the villages down to the new area, all them homes are for rent. It's on there. Tells you the price, what they do, what they don't do, take a pet, not take a pet.
Yeah, they give you all the stuff that you'd be asking questions about. It's all there, and very easy to read. And you see a picture. You can actually talk to the homeowner because it's the homeowner renting the home. The site just puts up the pictures and the criteria.
Let me ask.
But you actually talk to the homeowner to rent.
Let me ask. You guys want me to do a video showing you exactly how that website works? Because I can do that. You know how I was talking to Craig? Picture that in your mind. Take Craig's picture out of it. And then the website would be where Craig's picture is. And then I can flip through that and show you the information on there and how it works and different things like that. I can do that video if you want me to. I just don't want to put a video up there to be boring for everybody. But if you need that information, I can darn sure do it.
Yeah. Oh, well, and Laura, like I said, she's not driving on the ice and snow anymore. I don't blame you, honey.
Laura.
Yeah, Laura Lampy, up near Chicago.
Oh, you're such a baby.
She don't have to anymore, and she's going to retire here in a
2 years. She still has to work.
Well, yeah.
So you're going to be driving in the snow anyway. And I don't know. She lives in Chicago. Maybe she's got what do they call it? Subway. Can you do a subway, Laura? They go to work back and forth. I've never done a subway because it looks kind of scary to me.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I don't. I don't blame you. I wouldn't be on the ice either, but it didn't have to be.
Bus. I've never done bus, come think about it. City bus.
Phil Beard says Lisa was the waitress at Catfish Johnny's,
Okay.
but she wasn't there today.
He went over there?
Evidently. Nightingale says, I remember those days, Laura. Still can believe we have been in TV a little over a year already. Yeah, that time just, just goes by. And like I said, the one thing everybody says, wish we'd come sooner. Yeah. I wish we'd have come sooner. Like I said, while we still had energy to do anything.
Well, the thing is, in order to come here sooner full time, you got to retire sooner, or at least most people do.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the problem.
And Laura says she's also looking at Spruce Creek South in Summerfield, just north of the villages, much smaller than the villages, but the homes are cheaper. Yeah, that's right. You do get a better deal.
Is that the neighborhood where the guy used to take the fence off, sneak through? Is that somewhere?
No.
That's not.
It's on up north of that.
Okay.
But
I know the area she's talking about. Yeah, it's just kind of across the street from Del Webb. Matter of fact, is it a Del Webb community? I thought it was.
I think Stonecrest is Del Webb.
That's one, but I thought that one across the street was also Del Webb too.
It might be. I don't know.
I don't know.
So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Bill, my hibiscus is doing pretty good. I mean, it had to get a little bit of cold for it to perk up. And I don't know what I'm going to do. The two I did in the back, I cut them down to the ground last year. So right now, they're starting to come back up. Like it's a bad time of year for that. But it took them a long time to kind of recover. But these out front here, they get big. And I don't know what it is about them, but they get really big. And then the hibiscus have the worst bugs. I mean, you really have to stay on them about the bugs all the time because it'll get it's not aphids, but it's on that order. And they'll get in the blossoms before they bloom. And I said, when you go up to them, when you get to a bloom, it'll just fall right off. And that's because it's full of those little bugs. And you don't see them. And so you don't know. But I have to spray them about every other day. And it's a pain in the butt.
Joyce says, I love the idea of the villages, but the mandatory recreation fee.
Maybe the amenities.
Amenity fees. Yeah, I understand that. You've heard me say it before. I don't do any of the things that I did when I first moved here. I come here for golf. This is basically, I was going to say basically a golfing community. They really have a lot of golf here. But today, I don't know if I can say the same thing. I think it's just a toss-up between golf, pickleball, and in the wintertime, especially softball. Softball is a big deal here. I don't think people really realize that. These guys will travel to other retirement communities and
oh, yeah.
It's a thing. So,
oh my gosh, you don't see that often.
Huh?
I said, you don't see that often.
What?
The UPS guy just went right by.
Oh, yeah. I haven't ordered anything for a while. I've kind of cut
Since
back.
Yesterday.
Well, yeah, I've kind of cut back since we got home from that trip, because that trip cost me a lot more than what it normally would have because of the hotel. I'm not complaining or anything, but anyway, I just cut some video that'll come out next. I think it's next Tuesday on the RV channel, showing the lithium install. There's more to that as time goes on, but it kind of gives you an idea of what we done.
Okay. Joyce says, we have many hospitals near me and all are rated under 2 stars. Advent Health System is only in the middle part of Florida. Yeah.
Well, I've had the question, one of them was, and we get a 1-star rating compared to everybody else. I don't know who does the star rating. I don't know the company.
Did you not listen to Craig?
Huh?
Did you not listen to Craig?
Not really. I just cut the video. I'm the guy down here poking the buttons, so whatever he's saying, notice I didn't talk.
Oh, okay.
Because he said he give me little cues. Okay, and then on the next page and then I know I got to go to the next page. So I'm the guy doing all that. But whoever does the ratings and whatever to make it a 1, my question was, is a 1-star rating as bad as we think it is? I say we, but truthfully it's me. Is a 1-star rating as bad as I think it is? To me, it sounds bad, but maybe it's not as bad as we think it is. So anyway, he explained all that, I think.
Yeah. And I said, if it's like anything else, if it's a 1 to 5 and it's a 1, well,
But
yeah.
how many times have we been to a restaurant where you read the reviews? And the reviews say, this sucks, this is bad, this is awful. And we go to that restaurant and go, why do you think it was all that bad? I mean, it happens.
Yeah. And then I said, there's also the criteria they use for that. So somebody has to wait for 2 or 3 hours, they get cranky. And I said, and here lately, everybody's been overworked. I mean, I don't think they've ever had enough nurses, any hospital I've ever been in, truthfully.
William says I have a directive. If I have to go to the hospital, take me to a veterinarian. He might not be too off base on that.
Yeah.
We had a vet taking care of old Jack, and he was very, very good.
Yeah. Oh, and we only have the one hospital here in the Villages so far, but the Leesburg Hospital is actually owned by UF Health, the same as the Villages. And I said, and that was deemed the heart hospital. You'd always take them to Leesburg for the heart. They have a proposal for a new hospital in the southern end. They've not done anything with it yet. They put it on hold for a while, and I think it was an argument about which county it was going to go into, whether it was going to be the Villages in Sumter County or the Villages in Lake County. I think that's where the problem was, but they haven't got that settled yet.
By the way, Jerry Bell, for the guy, whoever it was looking for, he put a link to the Villages Homes for Rent.
Oh, okay.
It's on the chat. All you got to do is click
Great.
that, and you can go to that. But just know that when you click that, you are now not a viewer of mine. Just saying. Thanks, Jerry, for getting rid of a viewer.
Yeah.
Kathy B. from the 603. Thanks for the $5 super chat, Kathy.
Yeah, thanks, Kathy.
By the way, did we ever establish what 603 was? Didn't she tell us once it was like part of Philadelphia or something?
I don't know. Not her zip code, but I don't know. I don't remember now. I'm sorry.
Kathy
Just
B. from the 603. It had something to do, I think, where
her precinct?
the section she was at is 6. I don't know.
Okay.
I just like to know them things.
Overjoy says, my parents needed frequent hospitalization, and yes, 1 star is that bad. They didn't even provide adult diapers after mom had a stroke. I had to go buy them. Wow, that's really bad.
I would say that's kind of nasty.
Yeah, that's really bad. I haven't heard anything like that here.
You know, Marion, Indiana, if you don't know anything about Marion, Indiana, it's a podunk city. Been dying for years. Restaurants pull out. They're all gone. Their hospital there is called the Marion General Hospital. They're building a new one. We saw the last time we was up there. It's not too far from Cracker Barrel. They're off of I-69. I was shocked when I saw it. It's a whole big area there they're building for Marion General Hospital for doctors' offices and emergencies and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But when Dad had his last heart attack, it was at Marion General Hospital. The hospital himself, the staff was super good with Dad.
Yeah.
Super good. I found the only thing that was disturbing to me was as I'm walking down the hallway, there was something laying on the floor. I don't know what it was. It just kind of looked like a little long, like a spring, like it came out of something. And I picked it up, and there was no trash cans on the hallways or anything. So I asked the nurse, I said, where's the trash can so I can throw that? And she went and got a Kleenex, and I had to put it in her Kleenex. She said, where'd you get that? I said, it was laying on the floor over here. And then she rushed off with it, and I thought, I wonder what that was. Well, the doctor came in, and he was telling me about Dad. And I asked him about that thing I found on the floor. He said, oh, that was you that found that? She turned that in. There's going to be an investigation about it. I said, what was it? And I think it had something to do, if I remember right, to when you go in to have a stent put in, they run this thing up into the tube to put the stent in. This was part of that thing.
Yeah.
So it had human blood on it, probably. Dumbass me. Oh, I pick it up.
Yeah. Elizabeth Chamberlain says, Skip, I'm in Chicago, and I took the commuter train to work for 22 years. When I got off the train, I walked to work or got a ride. That's cool. There's
people people in New York. They don't have a license, need a driver's license their whole life. We have a granddaughter. That was her life's challenge, I think. I asked her once about when she was talking about working for a zoo or something.
She was going to go to England
Yeah.
and work for
No, she's going to go to college there.
college. And I said there was a zoo connected to the college. And so she had it figured out, you know, where she was going to live and how she would get to school and to work without ever having to drive.
Yeah.
So
You know, so
she's a smart cookie. She's a lot smarter than we are.
she is. She's smarter than I am. She's going to be what was she wanting to be? An mammologist.
Mammologist.
A mammologist.
Mammologist. She wanted to study mammals.
Yeah, and then I look at her and go, you're going to have to tell me what that even is. I have no idea what that
she
even is.
wanted to be the next Jane Goodall.
Yeah. Yeah, and I still think she's into it. I don't think she ever made it to England.
No, she didn't go to England.
She's still into it, so I don't know.
She's still going. She's still taking schooling.
I can only tell you that their mother raised headstrong girls. And Jessie, which is my favorite granddaughter, it took her years to do it, but she decided a long time ago she wanted to be a pharmacist. That's what she wanted to be. So I said, well, do it. I mean, I don't know anything about it. Only thing I can tell you is if you need help, like money or something like that, let me know and I'll do what I can do. But, you know, if you want to be a pharmacist, then do it. You only got one life. Do what it is you love to do. That way you never have to work for a living. That's an old saying. So, and I don't know how many years it took her, but she started in Indiana, and then she ended up going to Tampa down here, and today she's a pharmacist.
Kathy B says it's the area code for New Hampshire, 603.
Oh, okay, that's where I come from.
we you know, we forget things.
Somebody else was on here that had a number after it, and I asked about it. That was his area code too.
Oh, let's see.
Well, Tammy, that was my thought. You know, if you watched the video, I said as a 5-star rating, you know, total, is 1 star bad. I mean, am I wrong? I mean, to me, it don't sound good. And he said, by that star rating, that's exactly right. It's not good. But then he went on to explain other things about it too. So, I don't know. I can only tell you if I have a heart attack, I don't feel good about going to a 1-star rated hospital, even though I know Leesburg took care of my neighbor over here, and Leesburg Hospital, which is owned by the same people, it's a 1-star rating. So I don't know. And Leesburg's hospital is where you had your cancer surgery.
Yeah.
And the ladies that I talked to when she was in recovery, they were very attentive from what she don't know. She was out of it. But they were very attentive. They came in all the time. They'd always ask me if I wanted a cup of coffee or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know anything about it. All I know is from my experiences, I didn't really see a problem.
Yeah, but we didn't have any experience with emergency rooms. And I said, that seemed to be the biggest problem right there was the emergency rooms. So Leon Schultz says, my daughter's in her last year of pharmacy school and currently doing a rotation of Tampa General Hospital in the cardiac unit. Okay. Well, you know, that's a good calling, Leon, really. I mean, I'm proud of her for getting through all that schooling because, you know, I didn't think she was going to continue, but she's plucky. I'll tell you, she really takes it serious. All of them actually did. I mean, her especially.
Laura says hospitals around here, 2 of them have a 4-star rating and one's got a 5-star rating.
Yeah, well, that's good. And I love Northwestern, Laura.
I can only tell you that in Indianapolis, when I was really sick, I ended up going to a Catholic hospital. What was the name of that hospital I went to?
In Indianapolis?
St. Vincent's.
St. Vincent, yeah.
Yeah. And I got nothing but good things to say about them, period. From the time I went in, you know, you got to go in, you got to get checked in and all that crap. Give us your insurance card. I walked through the door, and the guy, whoever was at the door, I remember them saying, admissions? I must have looked that bad. So admissions? I said, I think so. He said, come with me. He took me over to a room. The lady was right there. She looked at me. She says, why don't I have them go ahead and take you up to your room and get you ready? I'll get the information I need from your wife, and she'll be up in a little bit. They rushed me right away.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I got nothing good things to say about them. What's their star rating? I have no idea.
I have no idea. Yeah. And since they've done the same thing that UF Health is, they since have bought a lot of smaller hospitals because the one we used to go to in the small town that we were in, they bought that hospital and trying to turn that around. So I'm saying give UFL some time. They may be able to do some improvements. And like I said, if the rating only comes out every couple of years, I said they've only been there working on this a couple of years, so it may take them a while.
Welter's asking, do we roughly have any idea how many beds are in the Villages Hospital? I don't have no idea.
You know, I had it written down at one time, and I
post
don't
that every now
remember.
and then.
Because when they started out, they only started out with like 75. And then it went to 300. So I'm not exactly sure.
They've added on to it a couple of times.
Yeah. I'll look that up if you really need to know. But yeah, they
could probably Google it. Villages Hospital and have all that stuff on there.
Yeah, you probably Google it. Yeah. But,
Jerry Bell will probably put a link up here for the Villages Hospital.
Overjoyed says everyone I knew who had hip replacement in my area wound up in a wheelchair bound post-surgery. We have horrible doctors and surgeons. We'll have to move north to get decent care with competent doctors.
I can only tell you my experiences with all this is none. I have never had surgery here. Never expect to have any surgery here. But the people I know has had knee replacement. People I know has had hip replacement. Skip, he had 2 of them. He had one done once and had the other one done. They've all went down to Orlando, right?
Yeah, and now the prominent doctor that they use down there now has an office here in the Villages, Dr. Mercier. And like I said, I've had 3 neighbors around here, and they've had their knees done, and one of them had hip done. They were out walking with a couple days. I mean, they done such a good job.
Where does he do the surgery?
He did the surgery.
Where did he do the surgery?
Like I said, I'm not sure where they went to.
See, the problem's going to be he might be a great surgeon, but because of the Villages having a 1-star rating, if he does the surgery at the Villages Hospital, people may not want to go there.
Well, I don't know. And like I said, he might require you to go to Orlando because that's where he came from, I think. But yeah, Dr. Mercier has always been very good around here. They also have
that's
one.
That's the new Prime Electric. No, it ain't. I can hear it. That's the motor.
Here, yeah. There's another place over on Raceway Road, and they specialize in hip and knee surgery. I'm trying to think of the name of it right now. But I've heard good things about them also. My surgery was not the same kind. I didn't have to replace my knee or anything like that. They just had to stitch it back up. And that was made by the Orthopedic Institute. And I said they now have an office in the Brownwood Center. They're over on 441. They're out of Ocala Health. But I think I had an excellent doctor. Wasn't the best bedside manner. He was all business, but he did a good job. Bless his heart. He did
I don't mind. I don't mind in all business. I don't. I mean, I just want somebody that knows what they're doing and does it well.
Yeah.
He can come in and have the mouth of a sailor, and it wouldn't bother me, but see, it'd bother you. He could be the best surgeon in the world, but if he cussed a lot, you wouldn't like the guy.
No, because I think it shows a little bit about your character to me. Just me. Yeah. Bill B, if I ever open my own hospital someday, I'm going to name it the 5-Star Memorial Hospital. Good deal. You give away with a lot that way.
See, this is the problem I see with parking these things. Anywhere you want to. No, he didn't even go to the other side. He went to that house. Mm-hmm. He should have parked over there.
He normally does. I mean, they normally don't do that.
I've never seen that guy before.
Well, I mean, they normally don't do that like he did.
Hey! She can't hear me in there. She must have got her car back. Did you say she was having it worked on?
Yeah. Sherry Campbell says St. Vincent in Indianapolis is a kind, caring hospital. I have kind, caring hospital. Says I have family that work there. It's where I would take my dad when we lived there. Yeah, they're wonderful.
Good things to say about them.
They were wonderful.
But it's been many years ago since I was there. I don't know what it's like today.
But when Skip's dad was ill, we didn't know his mom had passed away, and they were very close about their health care, their money, all that kind of stuff. They didn't tell anybody that. They didn't tell us that. So we really wasn't sure what was the problem with his dad. So St. Vincent had a place there that was for elder care, and they could evaluate an elderly person. And they did that for us, and they were able to tell us about his dementia and his Alzheimer's, and able
It was
to,
it was eye opening.
yeah, some of the stuff that they told us, because we had no idea. And I said they were able to uh, tell us that he was taking too many pills for one. And I said we were able to get him off some of that medicine. He was so much better for the rest of his lifetime. He spent. He was able to do a lot more than what he ever was because he was actually over medicated. But yeah, I
Sherry
did love that area.
Sherry says our healthcare here is mostly ballad, BALLAD, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
They are buying up hospitals and doctors' offices on the Virginia-Tennessee line.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Oh, I don't
Ballad,
know.
I've never heard of that.
Phil said that the hospital has 307 licensed beds. So,
Licensed beds.
yeah.
So there's some unlicensed beds?
Well, when they put you in the hallway because they ain't got a room for
Can
you,
I go to an unlicensed bed? Is it legal?
like I said, when they put you in the hallway because
What
they ain't
kind of
got a bed
license
for
do you
you.
need to be in bed?
Oh, God. Okay. And Jerry says, how many unlicensed? Yeah. Mr. Jerry and Mr. Phil are informed fast with healthcare info. They can get to these things a lot faster than we do. And then I said, you can do all the checks that you want on there because they did put the site on there where you could check. Yeah, Phil says they can stack thousands in the parking lot.
Yeah. Well, there's some truth in that. Remember COVID? They had that huge tent. They couldn't get you in the hospital. And if you need any electric surgeries or whatever, I'm not sure what they did. I know when Sue had to go in during COVID, couldn't be at a worse time, and she had to go in for surgery. We had to go to Advent Health. I think it's up in Ocala, right? That's Advent Health, that hospital there.
I think so.
Yeah, because we went to Advent Health here.
It was Ocala
I mean, we had
Health.
to go to but I think it's Advent company that owns that. Anyway, it made a difference. We went to the hospital in Ocala. Well, I went up there. I had to take her up there, and she went in, and we went in somehow, somewhere. The doctor analyzed everything, and they got it set up for surgery. Well, I had to leave, and when I came back, while she was getting her surgery, they wouldn't let me in the hospital.
No, you had to do it by phone.
Yeah, you had to do it by phone.
Yeah, they sit out in the car until they was ready for you, and then you go into the hospital. And then when you were done, then,
Yeah.
they would call you to come get me. Yeah.
And I don't know what they did here, but I do know, I think in some ways we were lucky that we went to that hospital because here they set up a big tent or something for COVID patients.
It's for COVID shots.
But I thought that the hospital was full of COVID patients and they had an overflow tent where they were actually, you have to Google that out. But anyway, yeah, the hospital here got overwhelmed.
Yeah.
That's the point. That's my point. They got overwhelmed.
Okay. Yeah, Laura, it is a pretty good size and it's beautiful. I got to tell you, I've never been in one that's prettier, but yeah, it's 307 beds. Like I said, they started out with 75, and over the years they've increased. And this is not the developer's hospital. I mean, let's be clear about that. It doesn't have anything to do with him other than they were able to get the hospital to come here, but they don't run the hospital. And I said, right now it's being run by UF Health, which is all over the central part of Florida. And they do a good job in most places. So
Laura agrees with me. Her ophthalmologist that treated her eye problems or whatever, took cataracts and whatever, said he's not Mr. Personality, but he did a great job fixing her eyes. And that's me. I don't care if the mechanic is the dirtiest person in the world when you look at him. And today, mechanics are almost like doctors. They wear gloves and stuff. But if he does a great job working on it, that's the guy for me.
Yeah. Well, like I said, my surgeon was great, both of them. And I said he wasn't Mr. Personality.
But he wasn't Mr. Personality.
He wasn't.
Would you go back?
I was kind of scared to ask him.
Would you go back?
I was kind of scared
So
to
the
ask
answer
him.
is no.
Yeah, I would go back.
She gives you an answer like a congressman.
No, I mean, I was kind of afraid to ask him questions. And that's a no-no. You should be able, if you got a doctor that's going to be cutting on you, you should be able to ask him anything. That's the idea. So, like I said, he wasn't Mr. Personality, but he was good at what he did. And I said, as far as explaining things, afterwards he explained a lot. Before he didn't explain a lot, and that bothered me. But afterwards he was able to explain a lot. And I would go back to him, yes.
Unlicensed beds are half price, Williams.
Oh, yeah. Who was your favorite TV movie trucker? Mine is Cletus, Jerry Reed.
TV movie trucker?
Yeah.
I don't know if I had that, but yeah, Jerry Reed on Smokey and the Bandit was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I kind of like. Actually, Jackie Gleason probably my favorite TV sheriff.
Yeah.
Hold on. Now you stay right there, and don't you even think about moving till I get back.
Yeah.
You guys are hilarious.
Phil says they can put several hundred beds over at Margarita Republic in Spanish Springs. Yeah.
By the way, Margarita Republic in Spanish Springs is closing their doors and leaving if they've not already left.
Yeah.
That's on the news. I've seen it in there. I haven't done any of the news yet. After this, I'll probably go in there and start cutting a little bit. But yeah, Margarita Republic's gone. Now, I don't know what happened there. I don't know if Margarita Republic decided it was just too much trouble. I don't know if the developer didn't want to renew his lease because he's too much trouble. All kinds of things could have happened there.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest problems there is you have to always remember, and people lose sight of this. This is a retirement community. This is not a town for every Tom, Dick, and Harry to come in here and party all the time, even though we have our party ways. And Margarita Public is one of the few, if not only, bars in all the villages, as far as I know, that were allowed to stay open till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And they tried to get it shut down at 11 o'clock. But something was done. I don't know what was done, and that was kiboshed.
Yeah. And because we're open to the public, our town squares are open to the public.
But still, even for something
and
to the
it's right
public,
on 441.
if they would close it down to 11 o'clock, that would cut down a lot of that late night partying. And that's where,
because it was right along 441, it had a lot of outsiders in there, a lot of younger people coming in, and I don't know what it is with younger people, and a lot of testosterone, but a lot of fights and that kind of thing.
Testosterone.
And that was kind of their downfall.
Maybe that's what we need for old people. We need a testosterone shot. Yeah.
You gotta learn how to say it before you do it. Okay, let's see. Richard Wiesner says, "Hi, Skip and Sue. We are on our way to the villages." Well, come on down. It's going to warm back up. I mean, it's a little chilly today.
It's not that chilly out here. You are such a whiner. Gosh, it's 70 degrees out here. What's the temperature? Look on it. What is temperature?
Well, I'm not good at looking on it because then I have to go off the whole thing.
Oh, I'm going to say it's 70 degrees.
Well, it might be up to 70. Yes.
I'm sitting in the sun here.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't be.
I know I shouldn't be, but I am.
Yeah, and the high was only supposed to be 71.
See, this is the winter. Remember, the sun comes right across here in the winter time.
Only supposed to be 71 with the high today, so. But
Ooh,
80 by Friday.
I better get my jacket on.
Come on down. I'll be boned.
Yeah, that was the one thing I can remember us talking about at Starbucks up in Brownsburg on Saturday, saying, you get in middle part of Florida, you do get the colder weather. And it was all this discussion about whether to go further down. At that time, I think Sarasota was like one of the more popular places to get and we checked Sarasota out. And we checked Punta Gorda out, Port Charlotte, I mean, all that coastal stuff. And we thought about going down there because we looked at the weather in Indianapolis in the wintertime. It would be, say, 50 degrees in Orlando. Sarasota would be 75. It was that big of a difference in weather. And we just thought, now keep in mind, we were going to be snowbirds. And we were looking at that big temperature difference. Well, full time, we're here for a lot of reasons. But we do get cold in the winter. And there are a few days in the winter at night, it might get below freezing. I don't know what the coldest, but I know one year it killed flowers around here.
Yeah.
So it does happen. But the upside to that is that we always said, well, just give it a day or two, and it gets back up to where it needs to be. And the one thing about it, I don't care how cold it gets down here, that you can always go out and do what you want to do anyway. You may not want to go swimming on a 50-degree day.
Well, I know somebody that does, but
well, the pools are heated to 80,
82, 84,
or something.
Like that,
yeah. But the point is, you can get out. We're up north. If it gets down to 20 and it's snowy and it's icy, you may not go anywhere because you don't want to drive in it. You don't want to walk in it. That kind of thing. So,
yeah. Tammy Ferguson says it is The one rating is a bad thing. It says, I live in Johnson City. Hospitals are dirty and patients have poor care. That's something I can say about I've not noticed these hospitals being dirty. Neither
I
one
haven't
of
either.
them. No.
I've heard that, but I've not walked all over the hospitals either. Like my one time visit to the hospital in the villages was go in, do my stress test. They told me the results of it. We walked out.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that was all an excuse because we're up here now. Let's go get something to eat. That's the only reason why I went. I do this all the time.
Yeah.
She thinks I'm kidding, and I'm not. She'll say, I'm going to go to Lowe's. You want to go? And I'm thinking, not about Lowe's, not about anything at Lowe's. I could care less. I'm thinking, what's up there to eat? Do I want to go to,
Yeah.
or like she wants to go to Home Depot. Once in a while, I'll go to Home Depot. And why do I go?
You go to
Panda Express. It's on the other side of the parking lot.
Yeah.
Or actually, now the way it's been changed up there, we could go to Texas Roadhouse.
Oh, that's true.
I think you skip to the parking lots, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I ain't been to Texas Roadhouse in a long time. You know what? I kind of like to go to Texas Roadhouse.
Well, we have a car.
I don't drive. I don't have a car.
I can drive.
You have a car. I have a golf cart.
Okay. Mark Ryan says the Ryans are in the villages. Hide your valuables. Glad to be here for our second week.
By the way, who's
our
coming
second
down?
visit.
Who did you say was coming down?
Where was that here? Richard Wiesner and Mark Ryan. They've been here. This is their second visit. They're here now.
Some of them I've met, and some of them I haven't. Now, I'm trying to think if I've met Richie Wiesner.
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 Wiesner. Like Wheezy.
Yeah.
I
we're
always
old. We don't
kind of
remember.
like that name. Wheezy. Oh, come on, Wheezy.
Okay. And just Mindy says, hi from my elliptical machine. That's one way of staying warm, girl.
Well, he's a member. I see that. Richard Wiesner's a member.
Well, yeah. I've seen him on here before.
Well, maybe I've met him before.
Well, that's
some of them I've met, and they were here for a lifestyle visit and then left. And
yeah. Well, and let's see. Mark Ryan says this is be their second visit.
Have I met you before? I got to ask because I can't remember.
Yeah. Laura Lambie says she thinks new hospitals opening are also governed by a state agency. Well, they do. And, in a lot of states, and I think Florida's one of them, you have to have permission to open a hospital. You can't just build a hospital anywhere. If they think there's too many in your area, the government won't let you build it. I don't know why. Doesn't make sense to me. But I do know that does happen in some states. Not all states, but some states. Ann Welter says, do many people use the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville if they're not happy for the care in the villages?
The Mayo Clinic they would use be the one in Gainesville.
No, the Mayo's in Jacksonville. The one in Gainesville is Shands.
Shands, yeah, that's the one everybody likes to use. Yeah, Shands.
But yeah, I know of a couple people that's went to the Mayo Clinic. Actually, our granddaughter, she went to they sent her to the Mayo Clinic in, is it Wisconsin or Minnesota?
Minnesota.
Yeah, they sent her there instead of sending her to Jacksonville. So, go figure. But I have known a couple of people that's went there. Not heard a lot of accolades. Not heard bad things either. So, but the one in Minnesota you hear about all the time. And
Laura said that she had a friend that lives on the north side of Chicago that has never driven a car.
Yeah, in the big cities, there are a lot of people like that.
Yeah, it's pretty typical. New York's that way.
Yeah.
A lot of people walking. They rent an apartment or whatever close to where they do work, and they walk. And some of the bigger cities, like Orlando, I think now is building or maybe they got it built. They was building a rail system.
Yeah, Brightline. It goes from Orlando to
Miami. And then Miami's little bastard. He's after get out of here.
Try to get your gecko.
He's trying to get my gecko down there.
His little buddy gecko. Okay.
But anyway, they're talking about extending that now to, the way I understand it, to Jacksonville. From Jacksonville, and I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but somehow I guess it goes to Orlando. It's going to make stops. And then from Orlando, go down to Miami.
That's way in the future, but yeah.
Well, I think it'd be a good deal. I kind of like the idea of that.
Oh, I do too. I think it would be, with having the big parks that they have here, I don't know why it took them so long to think of this, truthfully. It should have been, something like that should have been put in, because you know how bad the highways get. Oh, and by the way, the birds are back. The traffic was terrible this morning. But yeah, I don't know why they didn't have something like that, the rail lines a little bit earlier. And there's putting in another stop on
I just sometimes
that railway.
wonder, as big as the villages is getting and expanding fast, when a public transportation will be introduced here of some kind.
They've tried all different kinds of things.
Yeah, but it's too small.
Yeah.
Now we're getting upwards of 150,000 people, and the projected thing by year 2000, I forget the year, I want to say 2030 or something, they want 250,000 people here. Well, 250,000 people would justify a public transportation system for taking people, say, to and from a hospital that can't drive, to and from a grocery store that can't drive, like my sister. How the pickup service would be, they can't drive around here and pick you up at your house. That's just way too much time. They should have like a station, and you wait for the bus there.
And then they do pick up at some of the rec centers. They've got a city bus that does pick up in certain areas. I don't know where it goes, but
The developer passed a thing a long time ago about outside buses. Remember that?
this is city transit, and I said it's,
What city?
I don't know.
He passed a thing a long time ago that outside buses are not allowed to park on villages' properties.
Yeah,
A city bus means it's an outside entity.
but they can pick up along the street.
Well, I'm telling you, you cannot have a service that goes around and picks people up at their house. So in order for them to have a station, a bus station to pick you up, they can't put it inside this neighborhood. They can't put it inside no neighborhood. Where are they going to get the property?
They could travel on the city streets and just say, we'll pick up at this stop.
There has to be a bus stop on that street. We don't have one. There's a golf cart trail.
Okay.
It ain't going to happen. But in the newer areas, here's what they could do. On the newer areas and where they're building, they could have a bus stop planned in. They pick you up, let's say, down in Finney area. And they can use the bus stop that the villages does own in Lake Sumter, and the one that they do own in Spanish Springs. Now, and if they want to take it to a shopping center in this route, the shopping center parking lot does not belong to the villages. So they could go to these shopping centers and drop you off, but they have to have a specific area. They don't drive all over looking for you.
Yeah.
And they have to have a specific time that we stop and a specific time that we leave, because you know how these old people are. Oh, he'll wait for me. I'll be out there in just a few minutes.
No, they have a regular schedule here because I've seen them.
Where?
I've seen them going down the road.
That's right. You're missing my point.
I don't know. I don't ride them. I'm just saying they have them.
Well, you're just making frivolous conversation. That means nothing then, because they have to have a pickup point.
Jesse.
She doesn't get it. She does. I'm a truck driver. I know how routes work. She just talks frivolous stuff like, well, they can just pick you up. Well, where are they going to pick you up?
Well, I know, but a lot of people have to schedule that stuff because they take it to
They don't
doctors.
scheduling. We have a bus stop. You have to be at that bus
stop.
Oh, my
God.
You can't have people schedule anything. They never do it right. Listen, I plan schedule stuff all the time on my shows, and they never show up.
And I said, I know that you could do doctor's visits, stuff like that. You have to schedule it ahead of time.
Here, some of the hospitals have their own staff that does that in golf carts. Remember, if you had surgery done, the hospital up there had a golf cart that would take you home, like for eye surgery, and bring you back.
Well, I said that's particular one because I think that one time the cancer center did that. I don't know if they still do that. I've seen them.
I don't know if they still do it
in
or not
the parking lots only. I've not seen them go out and pick anybody up.
No. Where you go up there and get your infusions?
Yeah.
that place right there years ago. There was a golf cart there, and I talked to the guy.
And it still is, because it's the hospitals behind it, and they go in the parking lots and pick people up. But I'm not seeing them go to the houses anymore.
No, he told me. He said, if you have surgeries done and there's nobody that can help you, if you have like eye surgery and you can't drive home and you don't drive, they can take you. If you live somewhere, because these hospitals are open to anybody. But if you live in the villages, and there might have been just a certain area around there they went to, I don't know that, but he said they could take you home.
Yeah. But, a lot of that,
I'm sure there's a fee for that.
It is a specific, like the eye doctor, if you have eye surgery, or the cancer center, if you have cancer. I think it's a specific thing, not just anybody getting out of the hospital.
And I don't even know if they still do it.
Yeah.
They may have quit doing it because of just the logistics of it.
Okay, so Ron 5850 says, so is it safe to say that the prisoners down in Coleman have a better medical facility than the people in the village?
That doesn't surprise me a bit.
We don't know that because we don't know what kind of
because the
facility
government's
they
paying
got.
for all that, so best of the best, right? Free medical care for illegals, but damn you if you worked your whole life and need any medical care, you can go to a 1-star hospital.
Well, anyhow.
Do I sound bitter?
Yeah. Overjoyed says, we're thinking on the villages or on top of the world, but now perhaps I should look at Orlando communities due to healthcare concerns.
They do have some good hospitals down there if you check them out for the ratings.
And Deb, my friend Deb, she moved to Mount Dora, and that's one of her concerns because she was right near the Advent Hospital down there, and I went down there when she was in there once before, and let me tell you, that place is top notch. It really is. And I said, I don't think you could want for better. And I don't know where it fell in on the list of Craig's list of hospitals, but I know it was probably 3 or 4 because I said, I've never seen anything that was so nice as that one. And it used to have a different name before it was Advent Health.
Jesse's here. Jesse's in the house. She says 82. I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
82.
But yeah, that's a concern. I mean, we've not had any problem, but that doesn't mean anything. We've not had some serious problems here, but a lot of people that have some serious health problems, and it's an ongoing thing. Because I know a lot of people went to, when they had cancer, they went to Moffitt instead of using the cancer center here. And Moffitt used to be here, and they moved. And I said, the Florida Cancer here, I've had no problem with them. I love them, and they've always took good care of me. But a lot of people went on, and they make the drive to Tampa because they want to go to Moffitt. And Moffitt just built a new hospital down there, actually a big one. So it's kind of...
Well, and you also, I made the statement on, I think last part setting that maybe Gainesville, I don't know if there's retirement communities up there, but maybe Gainesville, because of the Shands having a good rating. And Craig even told me that Shands has the up-to-date, best of the best equipment there.
Yeah. And that is a teaching hospital, so...
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, if there's a retirement community, if medical is a big concern, which I think it probably is, that might be an option. Now, you're a little further north, which means that in the wintertime, you're going to get a little cooler weather than what we do here. Nothing is extreme. You're never going to run into ice and snow. I say that, and I'm thinking that the strawberry fields got froze out one year.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere in the 80s. They had a little bit of snow, but it didn't last overnight. So.
But Orlando. If you do go to Orlando, we went to a lot of different places down there back when we were looking for a Snowbird home, and most of the retirement places that I saw down there were modular type homes. There's nothing wrong with them. They were in nice areas. But Sola Vita at that time was fairly new, and it's a lot like the villages with an Italian theme to it. And I don't know what it's like today. I haven't been there. WrestleMania knows more about the place than I do. Matter of fact, I think he done a video on his channel on Sola Vita. I'd say check that out, check the prices out, and see where you're at there, because you're in the middle of everything there. All the theme parks, restaurants, hospitals, and may I say, traffic. Tons of it.
These guys are going to town here. I'm not going to repeat that.
What?
I said, I'm not going to repeat that.
What?
Phil and Rizzo, they're
Is he yelling at me?
no, they're cracking me up, telling jokes. Okay,
What kind of joke? Was it a gay joke?
no,
Oh, well, I'm still liking the half-price beds that are unlicensed.
oh well. So we're licensed.
Laura says there's 307 beds in the hospital.
Yes.
Oh.
Licensed.
Licensed
Licensed
beds.
bed.
How many unlicensed beds do you have? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
And how much are them? Are they really half price?
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Jerry. You put up your thing for your Patreon account. Yeah, Laura, they should. Oh. Okay, Pirate Harry K. They want to extend rail service to Tampa from MCO stops at Universal and Disney.
Huh?
They want to extend rail service to Tampa.
Mail service?
Rail service.
To stop at Universal?
Yeah, they want to extend it. Like I said, they've got it going from Orlando to Miami.
I understand that, but why would they stop? Oh, you mean that's where the station's going to be, at Universal?
Well, they would like it to. I don't know if they're going to get that or not.
Disney will stop that.
Well, and Disney.
You didn't say that. You said Universal.
Well, I was trying to hear. Okay.
I was trying to hear. What if I was not trying to hear? That's called ignore, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. There is a train from Orlando to Miami, Bright Line. Yeah, and that's what the name of it is. But they're wanting to extend it to where it goes. I think they were wanting to stop in St. Petersburg. I'm not sure about that, but they wanted to make another stop in between Orlando and Miami, and I think that's where it was. Which that would be great. And if they extend it to Universal and Orlando, or Universal and Disney, I mean, how great is that? I just don't know why they didn't have it before.
Laura says, is Margaritaville where all the people got into fights at late night and everything? Yep,
Mm-hmm.
That's the place. There for a while, every Friday on the news, it seemed like there was always something going on. For one drunk after another, and fights and carrying on, and so yeah, they're closing their doors, or maybe it's already closed by now. I don't know yet.
Yeah, and Brickyard Brickhead, yes, the grocery stores do offer delivery everywhere around here, and most of them use Instacart or what's the other one?
Well, there's a lot of them you can use. DoorDash is the one I
DoorDash,
used
yeah.
to when she was dependent on me for her staying alive. That
when he wanted to eat regular, he called DoorDash.
She asked me one year, what happened during Thanksgiving. She says, how are we going to have Thanksgiving dinner? Which I'm not big on Thanksgiving dinners, never have been. I don't know why. She's the one that makes the issue of these things, like Christmas dinner. Only thing I ever say is this. That's the 2 times a year I get my Cherries Jubilee. That's it. She can make a steak for my Christmas dinner, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And I would prefer to have that over turkey or ham.
Yeah.
But anyway, I said, I'll cook Thanksgiving dinner. I had it in my head what I was going to do. She said, you're going to cook? I said, yeah, I'm going to cook, and you're going to eat it. And I don't want to hear any complaints about it either, because I eat your food, and I don't complain about it. So, yeah, the doorbell rang, and the guy handed me my food. At that time, Bob Evans, they had their own, like she said, they always have this stuff already fixed up. And I forget what it was. It was just typical Thanksgiving stuff.
Turkey and dressing, that kind of stuff.
And he brought it to the house, and it was still hot. I mean, hot to the touch. But he brought it a day early. I didn't really want it till Thanksgiving Day, but apparently they don't deliver on Thanksgiving Day, so I had to get, and the next day we had to warm it up or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, when he left, it was like $5, I think, to deliver it. That's good for me. I told her, I says, dinner's done, So that's what I did. And then one year, Publix delivered food here, groceries here.
Yeah, that's what I said. They have Publix and Winn-Dixie. I think they do Instacart. And then Sam's Club delivers. I have stuff delivered from Sam's Club. If you're a Plus member, it's free. And I'm a Plus member, so they will deliver free. And especially if, like the heavy stuff, the bottle Coke and the beer and that, because I can't handle that anymore. So I have them delivered. But yeah,
Did we start
plenty
at
of
noon?
delivery.
Did we start at noon? Right at noon?
Yeah.
2:05. We're after 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how long that battery lasts on a new one.
Oh,
It's still
wow.
going, so
We're still going.
we need to close it out.
Yeah. Well, we're getting to the end of our time, guys. We're past the 2 o'clock range, and love seeing y'all, talking to y'all.
You ain't seeing anybody.
Well,
You're looking
they're
at
seeing
yourself.
me. But we got to go. No.
Yeah, I got to go in there and start the news. That'll take me 2 or 3 days to get this thing edited.
Yeah.
So
And then decide what we're not going to eat.
I just don't want to eat a lot. I want to continue losing a little bit of weight, so I don't have to listen to her big long spiel. When you're overweight, I mean this adds to your 20% high risk for stroke, your blood pressure. If you lose about 20 pounds, we might be able to even take you off of your blood pressure. I hear this spiel every time I go there.
I never said a word.
I like to tell her that the reason why my blood pressure is usually a little high is because I never take your medicine. It's in there in bottles. How many bottles of stuff do we have laying around? Well, they mail it to you automatically. And I got bottles of pills in my desk, in the cabinet in there. I didn't even notice over at the camper there's bottles of pills in the camper.
You're not taking them?
I do once in a while. Not all. I don't take them every day like I'm supposed to. No, I don't.
For God's sake.
In fact, them weekly things where it says Monday through Sunday on it, I'll fill them up with my pills. That will generally last me for a minimum of 2 weeks, sometimes a month.
Yeah, and Kroger delivers here too. There's no store around here, but they do have delivery. They've got a warehouse.
Where's there a Kroger?
There's a warehouse somewhere. They don't have a store here, but they just started this, I think, last year. But yeah, they deliver. They deliver here. I've seen it a couple times, and I've thought about calling them, but I use the local stores because I think you should. I think you should give them your money if you need to, instead of calling somebody that doesn't even have a store here.
I don't like Aldi's.
No, well, like I said, you don't shop there. So.
I don't like Walmart. No, every time you come home, which one of those stores do you buy the fruits at? The peaches and the pears and stuff. You buy them usually at a store, and every time you come home with them, 90% of the time, cut them open, they're rotten on the inside.
That was the farmer's market.
Don't buy it there no more.
Well, I haven't.
unless that stuff's in season, I'm tired of throwing that stuff away.
Yeah, and it's expensive, but then you say, well, why aren't you bringing me fruit? So.
Well, fruit is something that never goes out of season. It comes in from Mexico, comes in from China, comes in from all over the world. But there should be a way. There's an inspector. When I used to deliver to Indianapolis Fruit and Vegetable Company, there was a guy right there at the end of our truck. And no matter what we was hauling, he had a knife. He would cut this stuff open, and he'd look at it, taste it, and smell it, and then he'd approve it, take it in.
Yeah, but they're not going to let me do that. And I said, when I go to the store to buy it.
But there's somebody at this grocery store that's buying that fruit and vegetable. Indianapolis Fruit Company sells anybody. Yeah. So Marsh's up there would buy that stuff off Indianapolis Fruit. Marsh's had an inspector when it would be delivered to that grocery store. He would be back there doing the same thing. He would pull one of them out.
Well,
and here it seems like...
I've seen it, every store I've been in, I've brought stuff home, and if it looks good to me, it smells good.
No. You have to know what you're looking for.
Well, then you're going to go grocery shopping because
if you take a peach and you start seeing little indentations around it, looks like just little indentations, it's no good. On the inside, it's caving away and it's making them little. Or if you see a piece that's got little black or brown spots, kind of spots around it, it's no good. I mean, my dad was the watermelon picker in the family. Mom couldn't pick out a good watermelon either. And I don't know how he did it, but he had a way of thumping watermelons and stuff. And basically, he'd tap it. And there was a certain sound that he knew that was where he wanted it to be. And I don't think Dad ever, in my whole life, ever got a bad watermelon. Ever.
Yeah, well, if I could take him to the grocery with me, I would.
But then again, we're in Indiana, and most of the watermelons in Indiana came from Tennessee.
Yeah.
So it was a Tennessee watermelon. They were long and kind of narrow. Down here, the watermelons that grow in the sand are round. They're little, like round puckets.
Yeah.
And those that you've been getting, half of them are what I'll call overripe. An overripe watermelon, when you eat it, it has like almost a rotten flavor to it. Not that it's bad. It has that flavor. It's in the middle where the best part should be. When you take it out, it kind of falls apart. When you take it, that means it's way overripe.
Oh, Jesse says it's 82 degrees down there. That's what she meant by 82.
Oh, in Tampa area?
Mm-hmm.
Might be.
Yeah.
It feels like it's warming up here quite a bit.
Yeah. And Phil says it's 77 in front of his TV right now.
See? It's not cold.
It's not as bad as it was, no. Where does the term snowbird come from? You know, I never thought about that.
When it snows up north, the birds fly south.
Okay. Okay. Did you get that, Marjon? Yeah.
Yeah.
When it snows up north, the birds fly south.
Yeah.
That, you know, and then I said, somebody told me the other day they were going to be here just kind of off and on. And I said, we call them snowflakes. Yeah. And I'm not going to give you the reason for that.
That's because that's because it doesn't snow every day. And you're not here every day.
Quit making up things.
No, I'm not. That's fact. And
Yeah.
then in lower Texas, they don't call them snowbirds at all. They call them winter Texans. That's their phrase down there.
Yeah. Well.
Out west, they're just called a big pain in the ass. Because if you're not an RVer, check out some channels about what's that town out there called, where they all take their RV from Canada. Quartzsite. 10,000 RVs invades the BLM land out there in the desert.
Yeah.
And that's where they spend the winter.
Yep.
We went through there one time and I was showing Sue. It's ungodly real when you look across the desert. It's like a whole big town of RVs, and you go by after winter and then there's nothing.
Yeah. And there's a really good movie. And it's somewhat about that. It's about RVing, but it's kind of a sad movie. But it shows some of the stuff that goes on out there in Quartzsite. And who is the big deal out there? I'm trying to think. It's Bob something. I'm trying to think of what. And he's a big deal in the RV thing. In the boondocking, basically. It's boondocking. Because you're out in the desert, so there's no hookups or anything like that.
Yeah, we do a lot of boondocking when we travel.
But I mean, out in the desert. So
the idea of me parking my RV in the middle of nowhere for a month, boondocking, that's not happening with me. But the full-timers that's set up for that, you know, they live in their RV and they travel in their RV, and that's fine. But boondocking to me is like when I travel from here to, say, Rockport, Texas, and I'm looking for a place to spend the night. That's my boondocking, one night. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to be a couple of nights, for me and Sue, 2 nights of boondocking, 2 nights in the same spot that boondocking is pushing it. Generally, it's Harvest Host a night. Boondocking, I think we did a Walmart a couple of times over in Texas because it's next to Buc-ee's.
But normally it's Cracker Barrel or Cabela's. We feel safer there. But I love the Harvest Host. If you've never done Harvest Host, if you do a lot of camping, they're wonderful. For the price, you can't beat it, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah.
And as far as spending a night, if you want hookups, we were doing Passport America. Those are kind of, half of them are kind of, you know, you got to kind of check them out. But Passport America gives you 50% discount for any campground that's on Passport America. So if you're traveling and you're looking for a place to just be able to park, I want to be able to dump all my tanks, plug in, charge my batteries, and just rest for a while. Passport America is good. We've used them. I will say, though, we stayed at one in Biloxi, Mississippi. What a sketchy place that was.
Yeah.
But nobody bothered us.
Yeah, nobody bothered us. And I said we were able to do what we needed, you know, for the evening and then pulled out the next day. So, you know, for that, just to sleep. And I said it wasn't scary or anything. It just, you know, wasn't the best place.
It was just sketchy. You could tell. There have been some campers there that looked like they'd been there for years. Yeah. When you start seeing campers with a tarp over the roof.
But they have a lot of hurricanes in that area, and they had a lot of hurricane damage. So, you know, I think those are people that were there full time, and they had that kind of damage. It just hadn't been fixed yet.
All right, we're out of here. We've talked enough. Say goodbye, everybody. Thanks, all the moderators, for coming. Appreciate it. You guys keep everything straight for us, and thanks the donator of this iPad. This is professional looking, isn't it? Doesn't it look like I really know what I'm doing?
See you on the other side.